by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Live from New York, it's a show that just honestly had a 4-minute conversation about reviving Mac Jones's career. Greg, you can believe her. It's the second hour.
I couldn't have been more tuned out. Just silent.
You guys work.
Today, Mahomes, not an MVP finalist. Can he silence the doubters in Baltimore this weekend? Meanwhile, Luka gets a fan thrown out of the game. Oh, he looks so mad. Is this fair or foul? But right now, it's time for the most motivational segment in all sports. Also time where we read some viewer mail.
Yeah.
I went to the post office today to get the mail, and I just had a little light today.
We don't have our mail delivered. We have to go get it from the post office.
When it comes in a satchel, you got to go there. They don't deliver satchels.
Okay, got it.
On Christmas.
Okay.
Dear Wilds, excited for Chiefs-Ravens, the First Things First Bowl. Question, is the First Things First Bowl the game, or is it Monday's show that you're trying to drive viewers towards? Cheers, Ryan and Brian. Ryan and Brian, excellent question. We're not 100% sure. Hubs described the First Things First Bowl as like his wedding. It's kind of like the whole thing. It's the ceremony and the after party. What's wrong?
I'm just waiting.
There's nothing to wait for. Here's our promo for the First Things First Bowl. There are some Easter eggs in here. It's between Brew, who has been rooting for the Ravens the entire time, and me, and Nick, who's been rooting for the Chiefs. And there I am, of course, not excommunicated. I am still a fan. So that's the First Things First Bowl. Please tune in.
Are you the Easter egg?
And tune in for what's supposed to be just a wonderful.
Hey, that's not the part that's inaccurate.
Yeah.
I can deal with the head. Yes, it's the body that everybody's like, that's not Brew.
my goodness.
That's not Brew. All right, here we go.
It's the dumbest bit on TV.
First time in a while, maybe this season, that there's been a basketball related person on it. And here we go at number 3, Doc Rivers.
Oh, boy.
Doc, everybody loves you. Everybody loves Doc, so much so that the Milwaukee Bucks just turned their team over to him to win the NBA championship in a championship or bust season.
L-Bob.
Right? LeBron, absolutely. All right, even though, Doc, you haven't been past the second round since 2012, or as my radio colleague on the Odd Couple, Rob Parker, would say, since Moby Dick was a guppy. You haven't been past the second round. All right, so Doc, look, here is a shot at redemption. Because we're all for third chances, forget second chances, third chances, all right? After failing in 7 seasons with the Clippers to get them past the second round, after failing in 3 seasons with the Philadelphia 76ers to get them past the second round, now you have a chance. And I'm telling you, Doc, if you win a championship with this team, even though it is, you know, you got arguably the best player in the world or top 3 in Giannis and Damian Lillard, all-time great, who is hungry, if you deliver them a championship, people will not be talking about the blown 3-1 leads, the blown 3-2 leads, and all of that stuff. You will be redeemed, no question about it. Doc, I'm pulling for you. All right, at number 2, Lamar Jackson. Now, Lamar, you're not facing the pressure you did last week when you hadn't played well in the playoff game. You played great last week, and you were facing rookie. So if you had lost to him, it would have really looked bad. Now, look, you're facing Patrick Mahomes. Yes, you guys are favored, but there is no shame in losing to the great Patrick Mahomes. But I don't even think you're motivated by the pressure of the media narrative or your opponents or even your teammates and coaches. I think the only pressure you feel is what you put on yourself. And you have said, you have downplayed being all pro, downplayed winning the division, downplayed winning the MVP, which you probably will. You have said it doesn't matter. All I'm focused on is a Super Bowl. So if you lose this game, I think you're going to have trouble sleeping at night, all right, for the rest of the offseason. So that's the pressure. But Lamar, I do believe in you. All right, at number 1, look, I'm fair. We're fair here on the Bud list. Brock Purdy.
Wow.
All right, now, Brock, you've done just about everything that you could do. I mean, you went out there and balled against Dallas, against Philadelphia. You outplayed the prince that was promised, Trevor Lawrence, head-to-head by a mile. By a mile. You finished, you led the league in several significant passing categories. You are in the conversation for an MVP. Officially, you are in the conversation, not just with Brew. And you went out there and finally, in inclement weather, you went ahead and got a comeback victory, and still you get no love from certain people.
Here we go.
All right, so, Brock, what you got to do is don't even worry about the naysayers, the ne'er-do-wells. Don't even worry about them. All right, you just go out there and play. If you lose, they will pounce. If you win, they will sigh. No big deal. All right, just go out there and do your thing. We know you can do it, and Brock, I believe in you.
That's excellent.
Good bud list. Good bud list. I'm going to add Aiden Hutchinson and this Detroit Lions defense to this bud list. And the reason why I'm going to add this group is because when you look at the landscape of these last 4 teams that are remaining, there's only one team that has a glaring hole and weakness, and that is this defense. Specifically, their pass defense. And when we look into the numbers, the last 3 games of the season, and yes, I'm adding week 18 because the Lions decided, and Dan Campbell, who's the head coach, decided, I'm going to play my guys.
Yep, that's right.
And they played the Minnesota Vikings, and Nick Mullins was the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. And he threw for 396 yards. And when you look at these numbers, this is a problem. I understand you guys have overcome it. You won in all 3 of these games. But you can't think that you're going to go into 49er land, the Bay Area, and beat that team giving up this amount of yardage and explosive plays. When you look at these 2 playoff games, Matthew Stafford came into your house. Yeah. Obviously, Baker Mayfield. What happened? They threw for over 350 yards, basically, and they had a field day. Like, you're giving up too many big plays. And Aiden Hutchinson, why you're the face of this is because you're the most important player. You're the most valuable player on that defense. And what I understand to know is if you can get after the quarterback, you make it easy on your guys in the back end. I believe you can get after the quarterback. You've been doing a decent job, but you got to open it up for some other guys so that those guys in the back end can breathe a little bit, because when the game is on the line, you better believe that the offense, the opposing offense, is going to attack your secondary.
No, that's true. That's true. I look, their secondary is their weakness. I don't think it's quite as bad as the numbers suggest, because I think they're so good against the run that you have to throw the ball. And so the stats, the yardage they give up is a little bloated. But yeah, I mean, if they stop the run, if they don't stop Brock Purdy from passing the ball, they're in trouble, because I think they're going to be able to run it on them a little bit too.
I am putting Kyle Shanahan on the bubble. list. So a quick little history lesson about Kyle Shanahan, if you will. He was an offensive coordinator, great offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator, Washington, Houston, and then Atlanta. Atlanta's where he really peaked, got the best season you could ever imagine out of Matt Ryan, a top 10 all-time scoring season up to that point in time by that Atlanta Falcons team. And then in the Super Bowl, with a large lead, kept pressing the gas. Now, it wasn't every single play, and if you go through the play-by-play, you can see they didn't have a ton of opportunities, but kept pressing the gas, most notably on that final drive, and Tom Brady, of course, snatched the Super Bowl from him. I believe that game fundamentally changed how Kyle Shanahan would call games in the playoffs as a head coach, where his weakness has been not only not pressing the gas, but holding on to the handbrake at every turn, not aggressive on 4th downs, terrified of the end of half situations. And you saw it again this past week when instead of trying to go score before the half, he was like, oh, we're in fringe field goal territory. Let's just make sure that our opponent doesn't get the ball. And it ended up going poorly for them then. Who is he up against this weekend? Dan Campbell, who has never met a 4th down decision he doesn't want to go for, a fake punt he doesn't want to flirt with, a 2-point conversion, even if it's from the 27-yard line after multiple personal fouls. Screw it, we're going for it. And so I think the Niners have a decided advantage everywhere in this game except for in 2 positions, the quarterback and game management by the coach. They can overcome one of those. I don't know that they can overcome them both. So Kyle Shanahan needs to get back to what he once was as an offensive coordinator. Be aggressive, trust the numbers on some of these things and don't be so conservative. Trust your players to come through. I don't know if he's going to do it.
No, that's a good call. You wonder, because remember, before this game last weekend, he was 0-30 when trailing by 5 in the fourth quarter. Did Purdy, did them winning that game unlock something in him? Maybe they had to throw the ball, but they did. So it'll be interesting to watch.
All right, I'm putting Bill Belichick on the Bud list.
Wow.
When Belichick was let go by the Crafts in New England, this was the graphic that we showed. There was 7 open jobs, 8 if you counted the Patriots job that was unlikely he was going to get. But slowly but surely, all of these jobs except 3 have been filled. We also thought that maybe the Eagles job would open up. Maybe the Cowboys job would open up. A few weeks later, it's just the Commanders, who are basically in the exact same position that the Patriots are in. Don't know if you're going there. The Seahawks, who let go of Pete Carroll because they wanted a younger coach, so they're not going to hire Bill Belichick. And the Falcons, where the reports are this morning that this job is still wide open. Making matters worse, Vrabel still out there. Dan Quinn still out there. Eric Bieniemy is still out there. Kellen Moore, now that Harbaugh's with the Chargers. Does anyone want to give Kellen Moore a job?
Ben Johnson, everybody.
Ben Johnson busy with the 49ers, but he's still out there. So all of a sudden you look around like, what is Belichick going to do if he doesn't get one of these jobs? Is he going to take a year off? Doesn't have a ton of time left. He wants to chase Shula's record. Is he going to go into the media? That would be interesting. He's got an Emmy, and we invited him onto the show. Or Galaxy Brain. What do you think about just downshifting into a defensive coordinator job?
What?
What? You don't like that?
No.
No. For who?
For Bill Belichick?
Well, I got to do something.